How much of training and learning has to be adapted to the various generations in the workforce?
That's a great question.
You've got the Gen X, the Gen Y, the millennials, and now you're operating in a global economy, so you're talking about people in different countries.
Right. You have to be quite mindful. Let's start with cultural differences. Let's say from the North American standpoint, you might think that teaching your colleagues to be brash and go out there and really, challenge the competition and even challenge your client if you think the client's not doing correctly. That goes right against the grain for Japanese or Chinese. Generally in Asia, that's very inappropriate, So you have to be very aware of cultural frameworks and how people are going to receive that. So your goal might not be brash and push back on the client. Your goal might be help the client understand the value of our services, right? Now in America, that might be push. In China, it might be passively help show this to the client and see if they're interested. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have to have the cultural differences. And I would say that remains, from my perspective in this field a long time, one of the biggest issues is that people don't take that into account. The North Americans are a little too used to just thinking about themselves, not thinking about, but so are the Japanese. It's like all of our nationalities were a little too, I am as I am, why do I have to understand how these other people think differently? So that's the first big one. The generational one's been interesting because in public relations we have quite a lot of young people. We're actually about 70% female, 30% males, so we're more feminine. And we use a lot of young people right out of college, right? Now, we have quite a lot of debates about generational differences because we have a lot of millennials. They are more purpose-driven. And we actually have facts that they're more likely to leave the agency and go to another because they didn't see their life purpose being played out with this agency. Whereas in the boomer generation, my generation, we left for money or power. The millennials are a little more interested in purpose and meaning, which is quite interesting. At the same time, you can way over-exaggerate these differences right? Some of the differences are simply life stages. When we're all in our 20s, we're learning and open and ready to move. When in our 30s, we're getting a little more clear on what we want to do. When we're in our 40s, it's about time to commit, right? So you have the generational differences, then you have the life stage difference, and then you have the cultural difference, national cultural difference. You need to pay attention to all of those in your learning programs.